One thing I have loved is that in recent years I've noticed that Christian schools are getting more and more diverse. I mean, this is what needs to happen, and it's great. Our country is getting more diverse, and that is certainly trickling down into our private schools. I just went to a conference called Cultural Diversity and the Gospel, and I took away a couple things that I think might help you. Um, I got five kind of small changes that I think can really help you connect with your students of color, with those students that are in the minority in your school. Number one, you need to have some diverse voices speaking into you. We Many of us went to schools and colleges with people that looked like us, and our friend group became people that look like us, and we watch news programming and listen to radio shows with people that look like us. And if you begin to say, you know what, I need to have some diverse voices, this is the perfect time. Like, we have access to podcasts in ways that we would never have before. Just begin to search around and start finding those thoughts and ideas that are different than yours. It might shock you a little bit, but I think it's good to start widening that viewpoint of the people that you're listening to. I think number two, we just got to start making tweaks to our curriculum, our classrooms, our teachings. Again, I'm not talking about blowing things up. I'm talking about every kind of little unit section that you have. Is there some diversity in the voices? In a literature class, is if you take a module and say, you know what, every single person we read in this section was all white, is there another voice that could be brought in? I don't want to take away anything that you're doing. I want to add in a voice. Obviously there's famous people like Phyllis Whitley that can kind of bring in that diverse voice, but kind of each area look at and see, is there another article, is there another poem, is there another story I could bring in that would just give another point of view to the students. I think in just obviously the world that I teach in like Bible curriculum and ministry, and when I bring up the Second Great Awakening, do I talk at all about the black pastors that were going around during that time? One of the earliest theology textbooks in America was by a guy named Charles Octavius Booth, and he was black. And it's something I never had come across in any of my theology classes. There was a guy named Lemuel Haynes that was a disciple of all these kind of Great Awakening guys, and he was a black man pastoring a church in New England in the 1700s. So there's some really interesting, unique people, and whether in history class or science class, let's not just use 1 month of the year to talk about diversity. Let's make sure all throughout the year there are additional voices being brought in that our students might connect with. This will bring us to number three of putting together a student group, a council of sorts that can help you in kind of kingdom diversity. Grab men and women and students who are black and white and Hispanic and Asian and any other kind of diversity you might have in the school, and just having an opportunity for them to discuss chapel and spiritual retreats and other events that you might be having that would be that you can just kind of ask, is there something about this that doesn't seem inclusive? Is there something about this that the student body maybe could be more excited about if there was some little change that was made? We have blind spots. We have things that we might not see because we didn't grow up in a certain way or in a certain place, and it can prevent us from noticing things that maybe we should notice. This goes into bringing in chapel speakers that are as diverse as your student body. I don't want to be kind of strict on numbers or anything like that, but I think kind of a way to get your mind looking at what chapel speakers maybe should look like. If you are, for instance, 20% African American, are 20% of your chapel speakers African American? If you're 10% Hispanic, are 10% of your chapel speakers Hispanic? Now, when I book chapels for my college, I'm not looking for a diversity of views. I'm not looking for a diversity of opinions. When it comes to God's Word, we have narrowed in on what it is that we look for out of a chapel speaker. And there's a range in there for depending on what's going on, but we have a range, and I'm not looking to move outside of that. But I'm absolutely looking for people that maybe look different than me and have a different background than me and have a different experiences than me that might better connect with my student population. And lastly, this is where you kind of go up the ladder in the chain of command. There, you got to hire diversely, and this is harder than it looks. Our relationships and our friends of our friends are people who look like us and went to the schools we went to and come from the places that we lived in. And we're going to have to move outside of that. So whether it's hiring diversity or bringing in chapel speakers or listening for those diverse voices, we're going to have to reach out to those people we do have some relationships with and then help them introduce us to additional people that we don't have a relationship with yet. It's going to have to be strategic. It's not going to happen organically and naturally. This is a step that is important because it's important for students to see people that look like them, and so that they might better be able to find connection points on this journey of discipleship that we're taking them on. This can be a huge step in the right direction to help us reach all of our students for the gospel. I hope this helps. Share this with other educators, other Christian educators that you know. Share this video. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.